on this computer. Okay, and it's recording. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our event in collaboration with the Office of Student Engagement, which is our first year students connecting to research. My name is Rayshana. I am one of the student admin assistants for CHASS First. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Purnima. I am a third-year psychology major and a Chancellor's Research Fellow with the Office of Student Engagement.
All righty, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And I'm gonna go ahead and present. So yeah, as we all mentioned that we are going to do a presentation connecting to research in the collaboration with Office of Student Engagement and CHASS First. And going into it, we will get a more in-depth presentation from Office of Student Engagement. Then both Purnima and myself will be given our own experiences when dealing with research and some tips to get everyone, just a foot in terms of getting into research, where to start, because it can be a daunting tags to get into research and what even connecting and knowing what research is about. So now we're going to go into our presentation from the Office of Student Engagement. Go ahead and share your screen.
Great, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. All right. And are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
All right, great. So welcome. So this is a presentation from our Office of Student Engagement. And I'm going to be talking about several opportunities the office gives to UCR students and also talk about how you can get involved as well. So the goal of the Office of Sustainability is to engage in these high impact practices to help students. So we have academic internships. We also have student-led courses and service learning. You might have heard about our courses that's under the Office of Student Engagement. We also support research on campus. So the Office of Student Engagement has many fellowships and mini grants, which I'll dive deeper into to help more undergraduates get involved in this really awesome thing that is research. And we also have several prestigious awards. So the Director of Student Engagement, Gladys, she is the go-to person for awards such as the Fulbright or the Strauss Fellowships, and she's really a great resource. And we have several benefits. So we have higher GPAs, student engagement with student engagement, greater satisfaction with education, and students who engage in these events and these programs are more likely to graduate on time, and they also gain connections with faculty and get these really strong letters of recommendation that you need for graduate school. We also have more experiences and more opportunities that we help students engagement throughout their 4 years in college, and they have transferable work skills and resume builders. So all of these programs that we engage in, it really helps us understand, career goals such as graduate school and gain those work skills that are really necessary to engage in those postgraduate plans. We also have interview highlights. So you'll be able to distinguish yourself, talk about, here's what I got involved in when I was an undergraduate, and here's how it helped me grow and help me learn. And so in preparation, we really recommend that you have a strong GPA. So when you're applying to graduate school, when you're applying to post-baccalaureate programs, you want to show that you are committed to your subjects. So you have a strong GPA, you're showing that you're curious about your work, you're dedicated to it, and you're committed. And in your outcomes, you're also going to get, good writing skills. You're going to learn how to write these applications, how to get involved in the work you're doing, and gain some impactful experiences. You're going to learn how to present your work. You're going to learn how to talk to other people who aren't in your field about your work, which is really fun because you get to share something you're passionate about with them. We also have leadership and service opportunities. And all of these programs, you're going to have to lead your own project. You're going to have to lead what you're interested in, and it's going to give you a lot of opportunity. And you're also going to get letters of recommendation. So most of our programs require a faculty mentor in order to work in them. And so you're going to get a really strong letter of recommendation from your faculty mentor due to being so involved with your research project and gain that mentorship. And so you'll get to do research with top faculty, and we're going to talk about that. So the undergraduate research portal is a portal for all undergraduates to see the research opportunities on campus. And this is created by the Office of Student Engagement. So we have research that can be paid for credit or for volunteering. And every major conducts research. So you're going to find research from entomology, psychology, biology, sociology. It doesn't matter the field. You will have an opportunity through the research portal to see what research is going on campus. And through this portal, you'll also be able to apply. So you'll have an opportunity to apply to those research opportunities as well. We also recommend that you search faculty web pages. So a lot of times, if you're interested in work that's very specific to a subject, you can actually go to a faculty mentor's page and learn more about the work they're doing. So you can read some papers they're doing, you can read about their lab and also learn more about what their lab does. We also recommend that you use office hours to your advantage. So when you're taking a class with a professor, you can go to their office hours and talk about the research that you are doing with them or that they are doing, so you can do it with them. This is a really great opportunity, I think, to engage with faculty, especially faculty who are at the top of their field one-on-one, because it gives you that opportunity to not only learn from them, but to see, is this something I'm interested in? Is this something I want to get involved in? We also have summer research and campus programs. So there's several programs on campus, most of all are in the summer. So there is the MISRIP, and that is like a research internship in the summer for students to get more involved in faculty projects. There's also RISE, and this is another program that helps students get involved in research. We also have the National Science Foundation's research opportunities for undergraduates, and that is a national program that undergraduates can get involved in. And we also have UC Leads, which is a 2-year program that helps undergraduates get involved in research as well. On campus, we also have the Mellon Mays Fellowship, and this helps students who are not in STEM fields get involved with research. We also have CAMP and Mark REU, and all of these opportunities, you can learn more about them on the Student Engagement website. Now, if you're doing research, how do we fund that research? We have 2 wonderful opportunities on campus. The first is research mini grants. So we have 2 types of those. We have conference travel grants. So the university gives you money to present research at a professional conference. And this is money to, fund your food, fund your travel expenses, your hotel, and any presentation materials you need. We also have research supply grants. So when we're doing research, we often need materials or compensation for our participants to fund that research. And the mini grant, we have 2 separate ones. We have our travel one and our research one. The research one can support that as well. Next, we also have the Chancellor's Research Fellowship, which I highly recommend. And what the fellowship does is it rewards these really outstanding projects that are happening on campus. And through being funded through that, you are able to conduct your own individual research with your faculty mentor and serve as an ambassador to promote undergraduate research, what I'm doing right now. And in order to be eligible, you have to be a sophomore or a junior standing, have a 3.0 GPA or above, and be engaged in research. So show that you understand the research process and this is a project you want to do and why it's created. There's also options to present. So at the Undergraduate Research Symposium, which is actually happening this week, we have several opportunities for undergraduates to present their work. So we have oral and poster presentations as well. So you can either give a talk about your research for 15 minutes, your emerging research, your completed research, or you can have a poster presentation where you stand in front of your work and you talk to people who walk by and talk to them about your research. You can teach other people about your findings. So you get experience showing people, this is my work, here's why it's important, here's what we're going to do next. And you can also bounce ideas off of them and learn from them as well. And this is part of the Undergraduate Research Week, which is happening this week and happens every spring. We also have the Undergraduate Research Journal, so you are able to submit your research for publication in the Undergraduate Research Journal. You're also able to create the cover art for this journal, which is great if you have artistic abilities, and you can join the editorial team and learn the journal process from the inside. So you can learn about the research process, seeing other people's work and learning how to edit it and work in a journal. Wonderful opportunities. And lastly, you can pursue prestigious awards. And so the awards we have is funding undergraduate research. We also have awards for public policy training. We also have awards for education abroad, graduate studies, and postgraduate international educational opportunities. And to learn more about all of these different types of awards, you can go to the student engagement website as well. And what student engagement specifically supports is helping you get these awards. So we have application coaching, we have mentorship opportunities, we have career counseling, helping you with your interview skills, and also writing support. And just at the bottom here, we have some of those prestigious awards that UCR students have applied for and some have received as well in the past. We have the Goldwater, the Truman, the Marshall, the Fulbright, and the Rhodes. And in terms of some of these awards, we also have ones that are more geared towards CHASS students. So those are the students we are looking at today. We have the Public Policy and International Affairs program. We also have the Donald A. Strauss Scholarship. And we also have the Fulbright Critical Language Scholarship and the Truman Scholarship. So once again, if you have any questions about these, please feel free to email student engagement or go on our website as well. There's also several postgraduate opportunities. So we have the Coro Scholarship, we have the Capital Fellows, where you can go to the Capitol, and we have the Thomas Pickering Foreign Affairs Fellowship, as well as the Payne International Development Fellowship. There's also several international awards you can do after graduation. We have the Fulbright, we have the Boren, we also have the Marshall Scholarship, as well as the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. And here on our slide, we have a website you can go to learn more about all of these. And great, that is the end of my share of this part of the presentation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving us insight on the Office of Student Engagement and all the amazing research opportunities and awards that you all provide. I didn't even know that was an option. And I took advantage of that more before I go into my senior year. But thank you again so much. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. Research now. Let me go back. Now we're going to do some research involvement on campus. So now this is an opportunity for both of us to go more in depth about what steps that we have taken in terms of getting involved in research on campus. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off, and I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
All right, so hello, my name is Britta Makamura, and I am a junior in CHASS. I am a psychology major and a statistics minor, and I'm going to be talking about my research journey. So how did I get involved? What did I do? And overall, my entire story. So to start off, who am I? I am a Chancellor's Research Fellow. I'm also a research assistant in the KIND Lab, which is the Kids Interaction and Neurodevelopment Lab. I'm also a psychology tutor at the Academic Research Center, and I'm a mentor for first-year students through the Psychology Honor Society, which is called PsyChi. All right. And next slide, please. Okay, so talking about my research journey, what did I do in my first year? So in my first year, it was fall of 2019, so it was a couple years ago, I took the freshman seminar in CHASS, and that's how I really learned about research on campus. What is research? What does it mean? So all of you who have already completed this class have already completed this step, and which is really great. I feel like that class is a really awesome opportunity to learn more about what's going on campus. The same quarter, I joined the Psychology Honor Society mentorship program. And this mentorship program paired me with a mentor, his name's Hugo, who really pushed me to look at what I'm interested in. So I was interested in psychology, I was interested in work with children, and I was interested in work with minorities. And that's what I looked for in a lab. So in winter of 2020, I started researching labs on campus, researching psychology labs on campus, and seeing how do I get involved? What is the mentorship style that I'm looking for when I get involved in research? And what is the best fit for me? And I found the KIND Lab. And this lab, I'm so happy I applied to this lab and joined this lab, because they're really the reason that I have been able to do the work I have done, and they're tremendous in their mentorship and very, very generous. So in spring of 2020, I interviewed and I joined the KIND Lab. So to talk about this process, two questions come up. So how do we find research labs? How do we find them, right? It's very broad to say find a research lab. So for the psychology department specifically, there is a portal that has all the research labs on campus and all of the research assistant applications. So it's like a hub for everything that's looking for research assistants. And this is aside from the research portal provided by student engagement. So if you're interested in psychology, I highly suggest doing that. And in order to show your interest, I highly recommend emailing the lab after you submit your research assistant application, something along the lines of, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm really interested in your work. I just wanted to let you know I just submitted a research assistant application. Here's some papers I read, and here's what I found interesting about your work, and here's why I want to get involved and learn more. By taking this step, you're showing the faculty, you're showing the lab manager, whoever's reading your application and checking the email that this is something that you really want to get involved in, and here's why. All right. So let's go ahead to the next slide. So in my second year of college, this is when I started to do more work in the lab itself. So in fall of 2021, I got involved in the KIND lab. So getting involved means I took initiative to work with my graduate mentor to really learn more about what the lab does and ask questions and offer help whenever they needed help. And I worked with my graduate mentor to also identify my own interests. So what am I interested in doing? I mentioned I wanted to work with kids of color, minorities, and also work with young women. And the lab does work with all of those populations. But now that I have that, where do I want to go? So in winter, I started my work on empathy, and empathy is the ability to perceive, understand, and resonate with the emotions of others. And I was very interested in how does empathy affect an individual? How does it affect their emotions, their behaviors? And that's what I started to look at. And I applied for the Chancellor's Research Fellowship in winter of 2020 as well, because I wanted to do a research project on empathy to see what are the effects of too much empathy? How can that affect a child? And so in spring of 2020, I also interned at a women's therapy clinic called California Women's Therapy. And this really helped me solidify that I wanted to work with the populations that I was interested in. It really helped me learn more about the experiences of women and young girls of color. And it also taught me a lot about anxiety and depression in these populations. So it really helped me find that I was interested in more clinical work as well. So how can empathy have a relationship with symptoms of anxiety and depression in these populations? At the same time, I also presented my work at the Undergraduate Research Symposium and our site as well. And these are university conferences. So these were conferences hosted by UC Riverside. And it was a wonderful opportunity for me to get more involved in practicing how to present, learning to be comfortable around other people. And so some tips that I learned in this second year of college is that involvement is two separate things. The first is being interested in the work and asking questions and really showing that this is a space that you're here to take up because you want to be here. And there's also involvement where you're just there and you're soaking in what you can. You want to be the first kind. You want to be involved. You want to show that you're interested, because if you're interested in research and potentially a research career, this is really an opportunity for you to soak up as much information as you can. I also suggest be proactive in what you want to do. UC Riverside has so many opportunities to help you grow and learn, but these opportunities are not going to come to you. You're going to have to seek them out. And once you seek them out, it's going to be very rewarding. But I do highly suggest to talk to your graduate mentor, talk to your faculty mentor about what you want to engage with, and then be proactive with that. And lastly, the second to last, the worst thing someone can tell you is no. Actually, I'm still on the first slide. Okay. The worst thing someone can tell you is no, right? So even if you ask your mentor, your graduate mentor, your faculty mentor, hey, I want to do this. Do you think I'm ready for this? The worst thing they can say is no, and you're back where you started. But the best thing they can say is yes. So at least you shot your shot and you had the opportunity, you gave yourself that opportunity to get involved. And even if they say no, you can ask, why not? And they can let you know, maybe you're not ready in certain areas and you can work on those areas. So for the next year, when you can apply for those opportunities as well. And lastly, it is okay to leave a place if you don't feel it is the right fit. Not all research labs, not all mentors are going to have the same style that you are interested in or that works for you. And it's completely okay to leave a space that you feel uncomfortable in or that you don't feel is right for your growth environment, because ultimately this college experience is your experience and you should be where you're comfortable and where you're happy. And so now brings me to my third year. So last summer, summer of 2021, I presented firstly for the first time outside of UCR. And this was at the UC San Diego Summer Research Conference. And at the same time, I found out I was accepted into the Chancellor's Research Fellowship, and I was really, really happy. And so in fall, I started working on my research project. And this research project was looking at the effects of too much empathy on symptoms of like anxiety and depression in Latina girls. So I look at young Latina girls between the ages of 8 to 13 years old, and I look at empathy and its effects. At the same time, I presented at Harvard's psychology conference. So this was a virtual conference, and this was another time that I had the opportunity to show the work I was doing and how I was getting involved and what I wanted to do at a conference outside of UC Riverside. And in winter of 2022, so last quarter, I applied to the Western Psychological Association's conference in Portland, and I also started working on my senior thesis. So my senior thesis is also looking at the effects of too much empathy and how it can potentially affect people's behaviors when they're under shared distress. So how does resonating with somebody else's emotions actually implement when two people are under shared distress, not just seeing somebody else in distress. And lastly, in spring of 2022, so this quarter, I went to Portland and I attended the Western Psychological Association's conference and presented my work on how empathy has a relationship with altruistic behavior. I've also started working on my senior thesis and started to think about graduate school. So talking about all of this, I want to ask these questions. So how do we expand our knowledge? How do we find what we're interested in? How do we dive into it? And how do we learn from it? Empathy wasn't the very first thing that was on my mind. I was also interested in other topics. So how did I look at what I was interested in? I started reading. You have to read a lot of research papers because there's a lot of work out there and what you could be interested in. But unless you look the Google Scholar search, unless you ask your professors, do you have any papers that you recommend? You're not going to be able to have access to that information. It's really important to have access to that information. And I'm really, really happy. My faculty mentor in the bottom right picture, that's Dr. Mahalska. She sent me research papers, taught me what I should read, as well as my graduate mentor, Dana Glenn. They really helped me find the topic that I'm interested in and see what I'm interested in. And next is, how do we create a space for ourselves to grow? How do we grow in a space once we're in a research lab? And I really want to emphasize that you have to take initiative for what you want to do. You have to take initiative. You have to show that you're interested in something, and it will be rewarding, I promise. And so some overall lessons I've gained from this experience is that research is a slow but rewarding process. You're going to put a lot of work in for a lot of months, but at the end of it, it's going to be very rewarding because you will finally have your results. And second is take initiative. As I've said so many times in this presentation, really highly recommend that you take initiative in your work and what you want to do and show others that you're willing to do what it takes to get involved. I also recommend that you find mentors who have time for you. A lot of faculty at UC Riverside are very busy, and you want to have a mentor who supports you, who has the time to meet with you, has the time to invest within you, and is also a good fit. So their mentorship style is a good fit for you. Also, don't be afraid to not know something. We're undergraduates, we're coming into research for the first time. Many of us are low income or first generation, and research is not part of what our family has been involved in for generations. It's okay to not know something. It's okay to ask questions. No one is going to be angry at you for not knowing something. And lastly, if you have any questions or you'd like to contact me after this presentation, please email me. I'm always happy to mentor students and help people get involved in research. That's what I love to do. And my email is purnamakumar@ucr.edu. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experience. You have been involved in so many different research opportunities. I never even thought of just hearing about empathy in, young women of color and how that can affect one person. And that's an interesting topic. I wish you all the best in luck in furthering your research and getting more in depth with it. Hopefully we'll see you published and everything like that. So great job. Congratulations on becoming a fellow and your hard work. It's hard, like you said, it's slow, but it is rewarding, and you are a living testimony of that. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go into my journey. Hello, everyone. My name is Rayshana Thomas. I am a fifth year political science, law and society, and African American studies double major. And just a little bit of who I am. I'm a student admin assistant for CHASS First, and I'm also president of Black Student Union. My journey in going into research is very different from Nima because mine is very non-traditional route. My intake of research is through connections with the professors actually on campus. So actually, when it came to my research journey, my whole graduate journey was just a long process of figuring out, what I wanted to do. Because originally I wasn't interested in research. Originally, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then I realized that law in that aspect of practicing law as a lawyer really wasn't something that piqued my interest anymore. And as I was taking more classes, I realized, I really love education. I would love to teach, and going from it, I would love to be able to actually do research. So what really sparked my interest was when I took a course called Women in American Politics. And it was the first course that I have taken my whole year that actually dived into how women, both of different sexualities and races are affected within the within American politics. And from there, really piqued my interest of, oh, this is something that I would love to do more research in, and more specifically targeting intersectional gender consciousness. So how does race and gender affect the political consciousness of these group of people? So, and this all came from this class. It's not really researched a lot. And with that, I was like, wow, this is something that I really want to do. This is something that I'm interested in. So my journey came from taking the class, and I've actually connected with the professor, Professor Jennifer Morella, who is actually the department chair of the political science here at UCR. So from there, I connected with her, asking her, more in depth about the actual, concept of intersectional gender consciousness. How am I myself able to get into that research and everything like that? So that all happened the fall of, I don't know why I put 2020. I meant 2021. So the timeline's a little bit off, of fall 2021. And then when it came winter 2022, she introduced me to the gender lab here through the UCR political science department. And these are students that are in the undergrad and even the graduate level here at UCR in the political science department, who give proposals out that targets, how gender affects these different issues within political science. And then from there, even though I didn't give out my own research just yet, because I was still figuring out what I wanted to do, I was still able to connect with different graduate students who were or is currently conducting research, actively doing research. So it gave me insight of, okay, this is how it looks conducting research through the political science realm, because that's something that I am interested in. And then now going into spring of this year, I'm currently working with the same professor and analyzing data from her own research that she has conducted. So I'm working with her in creating a nice infographic to take out all of the research and data that she collected from her research and put it into more tangible means so everybody can see it. And it's great because I was able to actually get class credits for it. So that's something called like special courses in political science. And even then it can add into senior research, because I'm able to work with an actual, one of my actual faculty members as a professor, and she's able to, connect with me. We're able to work together on her research. And also, if I ever wanted to do my own research into intersectional gender consciousness, she'll be a resource and kind of like a mentor into my process of doing my own research. So when it came to my research journey, it was a little bit different. I started a little bit late, but this is just an option of, these are various ways to get into research. So one of my main tips is to go to the hours of your professors in the field that you're interested in. So if you are taking a class, regardless if it's sociology, political science, English, and you see that you connect with a professor or the professor is doing something that you are actively interested in, and you know, like, hey, this is something that I want to do, go ahead and ask them questions, go to their office hours, talk to them. That's what I did, and let them know, like, hey, this is something that I am interested in, because you know they're already in the field. They went through it all, they got their degrees, they've done the research. So it's great to connect with professors that are in the field that you're interested in, because they have the journey, and also they can become, you know, a faculty member to help you on your own individual research journey. um Another tip is to take the leap, and you know, what's the worst that can happen? Like Purnima said, the worst they can say is no, you know, or they can say yes. So it's all about taking that leap. And even if you don't know what you want to research, that's what they're there for. Even if it's not specifically targeting towards what you kind of want to do research, just reaching out to them, say, hey, is there any research that you are currently working on that maybe I can help with, or like maybe I can shadow? And that's what I've done with my professor. At the time, I felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do in terms of going into intersectional gender consciousness. I am a senior, so I felt like, you know, I couldn't put my all into this research topic that I wanted to. I felt it may be a little bit daunting, but I do want to see how research is conducted. So is there any research that you are doing that maybe I can help with, that I can help you with? And that will give me some opportunity to look into research and say, hey, I had some research opportunity of looking at data, analyzing it, etc. Another tip that I will include is talk to your academic advisor about senior research classes or special study courses in your major. And with that, you're able to get actual credit towards your degree for taking classes just specifically dealing with anything that you want to research. And with that, you'll actually work with a faculty member, and they will help you present and create, you know, your research journal, and your whole research thesis, or however you want the class to go. And, you know, it's at your pace. I do know with Professor Morella, we meet once a week. She'll tell me, hey, like, here's some books that might help you. Here's a little text. We can meet up together just to see how your progress is. And that's how it can be for your senior resource classes or your special study courses. And it will look good on your transcripts and even on your resume to say, hey, like, I worked with this professor doing X, Y, and Z, and I actually have experience dealing with research. So that's a little bit of my research journey. It's a little bit non-traditional, not through the Office of Student Engagement, but this is also another route and another opportunity for, you know, students to get into research and to get involved. So those are my main takeaways. Go to your office hours, talk to your professors. You know, they are literally in the position that you want to be in or are interested in, and they have the resources, they have the knowledge. You know, just take that leap and just saying, hey, I'm interested. What can you help me out? Like, let's connect and let's work with one another. And also thinking about actually making or setting aside classes to get units to actually sit and focus for a whole quarter on your own research, And that's it for me. I do know there is one person that joined us. Is there any questions that, you know, you had for us specifically or in general?
No, not at the moment. I am a transferring student, so it's just good
Okay.
to get some information as to what's going to come, because I am it's like you mentioned, I'm first generation, so this would be all new to me, but it's good to have an understanding of the steps that I need to take. And it's not something that I wait until I'm getting ready to get my degree. It's something I really want to start on as soon as I'm in the fall. So that's good to know, because again, this is new to me, and kind of coming in and just trying to figure out what I have to do to get to my master's. This was helpful. I did join a little late, but it was useful information.
What subject are you in?
I'm a history major.
Okay.
Yes,
really
and I
cool.
want to be a professor.
Oh, same here. So yeah, I do recommend contacting and connecting with the history department or any other professor that you are going to have going into your major, and connecting with them, asking them, hey, like, how did you get into the position that you are in? What research opportunities are you currently working in now? Or even looking into the actual faculty page for UCR history department and see what opportunities are there as well, to see if there's any research, or maybe even you can see a whole list of different faculty members on there, even professors. You can even reach out to them and be like, hey, like, I'm student transferring, da da da. I kind of read your bio, it's piquing my interest. Would you like to, set up a meeting? So I'll love to discuss your journey, etc. Because that's what I did. That's what I did with and actually I'm a little testament. I literally connected with my professor. And like I said, she is the department chair for the political science department. So that's really good connections, because if for whatever reason, I do know for me, one day I would love to be a department chair for political science department. So it's good to have that type of connection. And she's done multiple research and is still currently doing research. So it's a good opportunity, it's a great way to get connected. And, again, it is the non-traditional route, but it's still a good route to go into when we're going into research and wanting to do research. So I do recommend that.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I would like to echo that you can start applying to those research labs now, and you can let the professor know, I'm an incoming student. I'm going to be here for however many years until you transfer. I do, and say, I'm really interested in your work. I would read some research papers that professors already done before you go and talk to them. And talk about why you're interested in their work, what motivates you, what some questions are you have about their work, and really show them that you're excited to get involved. And yeah, I would just go ahead and do that.
And how would I look up their work?
So whenever you see a professor on the faculty page, for example, most of them have websites, or under their faculty page, it shows their recent publications. I would look for faculty who have been doing research more frequently. So their papers have been published in like 2022 or 2021, because that means that they're actively doing and conducting research. And it's more likely that they have ongoing research projects going on that you can get involved in.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, well, thank you both very much. It's been helpful.
Of course. Before you log out, since you are the only participant, you are the winner of our, gift card giveaway. So if you can type in the chat your first and last name, and if do you have your UCR email?
Yes.
And drop your UCR email, we will go ahead and you will get an email from us during week 10 of your gift card, $25 gift card information.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. And I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you all for coming to our event. It's been a pleasure getting to know all the different opportunities that is in terms of Office of Student Engagement, all the research opportunity that comes to it. And yeah, the video will be posted and uploaded within both CHASS First and Office of Student Engagement for however they will like to showcase our event. And thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording right here.